Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Anand Padmanabhan, and I'm a research associate professor in the Department of GI Science, um, GGIS at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Um, and for iGuide, the National Institute for Geospatial Understanding through an integrative discovery environment, I serve as a managing director. And today we are going to be having a VCO session or a virtual consulting office session. We do this session regularly, almost on a weekly basis. So today's session, we are going to be talking about the iGuide platform with dataset uploading and DOI as particular focus of today's VCO discussions. Um, we have two presenters today, Furqan Baig and Erick Lee. Both are research programmers at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign at the CyberGS Center. And without much further ado, I'll pass on the baton to Furqan, who's going to be starting off this presentation. So Furqan, take it away.
Thank you, Anand. Hi, everyone. Um, so today, like Anand mentioned, we'll go through the iGet platform, and specifically, we'll be focusing on the dataset part of the iGet platform. These will be today's presenter are me and Erick Lee. So I'm mostly responsible for the back end of the iGet platform, whereas Erick is the team lead for our front end for the iGet platform. So I'll present some of the slides, and then Erick will go to the actual website and do an actual demo of the iGet platform from datasets perspective. So just briefly go through just to revise our thoughts about what the iGet platform is. So the iGet platform is kind of sorry. The iGet platform tries to combine together multiple science domains and science and educational domains from many sciences, including atmospheric, computer, and data science. The point of iGet platform is to have a single place, or as I would like to say, like everything geospatial at one place. So for data, communities, domain knowledge, education resources, and partners across these domains. So having all of this as a one missing middle that we try to say, which is the iGuide platform, which not only which combines multiple CyberGS resources, data sets, publications, and everything geospatial that you can think of into one place for the users to come who want to work with anything geospatial that they want. And at this time, iGuide platform is mostly like it brings together the CyberGS resources which are hosted on NSF resources. At the same time, it works with multiple data repositories like HydroShare, Data One, etc., which are integrated with the iGuide platform, and which the users can present their and register their data sets on the platform through these which are originally hosted on these repositories. So we'll talk about these how these data sets can be presented and can be registered on the data sets, and how does iGuide integrate with external resources as well as our own hosting of these dataset environments. And then once we have these data sets, CyberGS resources, this missing middle, also the iGuide platform also makes all of these things, all of these components actionable. That's one of the major contribution of the iGuide platform as well, which allows and which leads to new discoveries and new convergence science in not just in scientific domain, but also in educational and generally academia. So, without going into much of the details of the iGuide platform, was just a very brief, very high level overview of what are the major components of the platform and what consists iGuide platform. So, there are iGuide platform at this time consists of three major components. The first one is the iGuide user environment. The second one is iGuide Jupyter, and the third one is an interface to high performance computing. So as far as the iGuide user environment is considered, we can divide the iGuide user environment into subcategories where we have multiple types of knowledge elements, so these knowledge elements compose of uh, these knowledge element compose of anything geospatial, anything that has geospatial value. So we'll go through about a little of these detail at this time. These are some codes, publications, um, maps, notebooks, code repositories. So all of these are considered, all of these are termed as knowledge elements in the iGuide platform. And once we have a knowledge base of these knowledge elements, then the iGuide platform iGuide user environment provides a search engine on top of these knowledge elements, which allows these elements to be findable and accessible and readily searchable through simple search, simple text-based search, as well as multiple LLM-based smart search as well. So the second component, which is the search engine built on top of knowledge elements, allows you to explore and discover these knowledge elements which are connected together. Then, from the backend's perspective, and to extend the working of the iGuide platform and to make this available, make this extensible, the user environment has its APIs. Using these APIs, these are open APIs. The users can wake and the developers can use these APIs to work with the iGuide platform, to get data, to get these knowledge elements, to get notebooks, and work with all of these and contribute more from the iGuides platform's perspective. Moving on to the second part, so having this knowledge element, search engine, and user-centric capabilities on the iGuide platform. Now, in order to make these knowledge elements actionable, that's where the iGuide Jupyter environment comes into the play. So we want to say like right now this iGuide Jupyter environment is hosted on NSF resources, where every user which is registered on the platform with educational resources, with educational or institutional email addresses, they are able to work with these knowledge elements, open these knowledge elements, and see how they can interact with knowledge elements inside a Jupyter environment. So this Jupyter environment provides not just the interactability with these knowledge elements, but also makes the user explore these and work with and see how different knowledge elements can interact together. How, for instance, like a data set, how to download a particular data set, and how can a user or how someone else or how another contributor made used a notebook to download the data set, analyze the data set, and got some results from this data set. So all of these are actually bound together inside the iGuide platform, where these knowledge elements can be downloaded, can be combined into a Jupyter environment, where further exploration and further interactability and actionability on the knowledge elements can be performed. And finally, all of these, like while the Jupyter environment by itself at this time is mostly for reproducibility perspective, where if a user where the user puts their notebooks to show how their workflow works. If a user wants to extend their resources and make their workflows more scalable, at this time iGuide platform also has interfaces with high performance computing with multiple utilities, one of which is CyberGS Compute. And at this time, the iGuide platform allows the user to integrate with Anvil HPC, which is hosted at Purdue, as well as with Texas A&M as HPC, which is hosted as at Texas. So these are three major components: the user environment, the Jupyter, and then the interface. The user environments allows the user to discover, register these resources, connect the resources, discover these resources. The Jupyter environment makes these resources actionable. And finally, the HPC interface makes it more scalable, makes the all the knowledge elements and the discovery and the workflows based on those of on these knowledge elements. The HPC integration makes it more scalable. So this is how a very static screenshots of how the unified user environment works. As you can see that you can actually go to platform.i-guide.io to explore how all of these components are combined together into one user environment, unified user environment. On the left, you can see this is a home page, whereas on the right, the screenshot is more about the data sets that we will be talking about more in the next few slides. So, who is this platform for? We want to, like, although we built this, we came up with this idea of one gateway or one portal or one website for everything geospatial. But this can be used for multiple. This have multiple facets that the Agate platform can serve. For instance, for educators can host their materials and use the Jupyter Hub in their own classes, and we do have some classes which are actually using the Agile platform. So that's one aspect of the Agile platform, where for existing knowledge elements for educators in universities, in colleges, the teachers can. And in addition to that, we do have one of the knowledge elements in open educational resources, which lets you which gives ready to go materials, educational materials that any educator can use in their classes. So in addition to using those education resources, there are data sets, then publications, like I mentioned, the notebooks, which can be used by the educator to facilitate their classes. The second is obviously researchers to facilitate open science. That one of the major goals of the IGET platform as well, where researchers share their code, share their data sets, share their papers and publication. And one of the unique aspect of the IGET platform is the linking together all of these components of research and open research to make them more findable, accessible, actionable, and interoperable as well. In addition to these academia focused users, iGuide platform can also be used for policy experts. Like, they can explore what the latest research is about, and we are actively working on multiple components at this time, which are geared towards more policy experts. Where, for instance, some dashboards. Ready to use dashboards which these policy experts, when you are talking to them or when the researchers are talking to them, they can refer to, they can play with how these geospatial analysis looks like, and based on the research analysis that they can visualize and see, they can then translate them into policies. And finally, that for developers, we have added these code and demo notebooks, which the developers can showcase on the iGet platform. So, like I mentioned, there are six knowledge elements on the platform that we have right now, and this can be accessed as shown in the screenshot on the right side, on your right side. So, these are maps, data sets, notebooks, publication, education resources, and code. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier as well, the unique aspect of the iGet platform is linking all of these things together, where for a particular if for a particular geospatial analysis, if it starts with a map, it has its own data set, then some code or notebook which uses these data sets and map to perform some analysis, and you finally base these research or these analyses result in some sort of publication. So all of these things are linked together in the iGet platform. And for new users, for educators, this provides like this linkage, and this networking actually provides the connect aspect of the iGet platform, which can facilitate further knowledge discovery and and explore new frontiers on the in the sciences that they are working with. So at this time, 1 year about almost a year since iGuide's public launch. We have more than 500 registered users, which have contributed about more than 170 plus publications, 120 plus notebooks, and 80 which are and 80 plus data sets. And many of, like I said, many of these publications and notebooks, these are connected together. If the user is exploring a particular data set, they can see which notebook, they can go and open that particular notebook and see that how this data set was used. And finally, like based on these, we do have some curated 25 plus educational resources on the iGuide platform as well. So, focusing on, so now this was a very overview of the iGet platform and what we have at this time. So, moving on to specifically about the data sets, the how do the data set knowledge elements are available in the iGet platform. So, although data set, like all of us in academia and science, we are familiar with what data sets are. We have, all of us have used data sets to perform analysis, to perform to have workflows which use data sets, and we use multiple data sets that we interact with. And I get platforms perspective, um, we handle data sets into and multiple tiers, I would say. So for instance, this diagram shows how data sets actually work in the iGuide platform. On the left, as you can see, like there are multiple data sources, and these are data sources. We at the iGet platform, we categorize these data sources into two major aspects. One of them is these data repositories which already have data sets, and then moving, like for instance, HydroShare, Amazon S3, there are many many open data sets available on cloud resources like S3, Google Cloud, etc. And then there is IPAMs. But at the same time, many of these users or many of the researchers who are working with the data set, they have their own data sets. They download it, they perform some analysis, they did some processing on a particular data set, and that's a new data set, or I would say that's more clean or pre-processed or data set, or data set that was not in the original resource. But being a researcher or user or a contributor, this is on my own Dropbox, on my own storage, locally saved on my, or on my own storage, that I have this data set available. So I, as a user, in addition to the original data source, also want my data that I worked on to make it available to the public as well for open science perspective. So these are so considering these two major aspects of major categorization of the data sets, we came up with these ideas of externally hosted data set and iGuide hosted data sets on the iGuide platform. Initially, when we started, most of our data sets were externally hosted data set, but recently we have added this capability to the iGuide platform of hosting our own data sets, where the user can upload their data set and they can make it available to the general public. But all of these data sources, all of these, whether they are externally hosted or yeah, provided by the user or uploaded by the users, they are registered as an element, as a knowledge element on the iGuide platform. Then, based on where this data set, so we'll go through we'll go through the detail of how this differentiate in the demo as well. But from the user's perspective, if the user provides an externally hosted data set, we're good. Like the iGuide platform takes it, registers that particular data set in the iGuide platform, makes the user connect these to other knowledge elements, and these are made available into the iGuide Jupyter Hub as well, that the user can actually download. Because these externally hosted data set, one of the requirement is that you do have to provide a downloadable link to the dataset as well. That will then be used if we want to make this dataset actionable. Remember, that was one of the major aspects of the iGuide platform as well in the Jupyter environment. So that's the top part where the externally hosted datasets are. However, moving to the iGuide hosted dataset, that's the second part, where the user will upload their own dataset, and we as at iGuide have our own storage setup, which is backed by distributed min.io storage, min.io. That data set gets uploaded there, and the everything else, by everything else, I mean the directly download links, and keeping these spatial indexing and adding this to the knowledge graph, that's taken care of by itself for these data set. And again, to make these data set actionable, these are made available, these can be downloaded into the Jupyter Hub environment as well. So yeah, just an overview of the two major categories of the data sets that we have in the iGet platform. So again, focusing on the actionable aspect uh, of the knowledge elements, specifically for data sets. So like I mentioned earlier, the iGuide platform is not just a repository of data. There are many repositories out there where you can upload your own data set, but that's where they stop. Like you upload their data set and that's made available. But iGuide takes a step further, where, as I mentioned, we have two aspects. If your data set is externally hosted, you register the data set with external links. However, like, since this is hosted somewhere else, there are no particular guarantees whether these data set will be available in future or not, because these are out of our hands. But at the same time, we do make these data set register, we do allow the user to register these external data set into the iGet platform, so the user can take advantage of it. The second part of, like I mentioned, in addition to externally hosted, iGuide hosted data sets are where user can upload their own data set. And now, since this is in our control, we do have a lot of like more control as compared to externally hosted data set, where we can issue DOIs for these data sets, and these are persistent data sets. Will be available, accessible, and actionable. And these are some of the guarantees that we as iGuide do provide for these iGuide hosted data sets. And all of these data set by design are or should be accessible and downloadable in notebooks or in the iGuide Jupyter Hub environment with minimal effort. So that will be covered in the demo part, but that's one of the, like, the actionable aspect, an actionable tagline, I would say, for the iGuide data sets, that one of the major goals of the designing this iGuide dataset platform. So moving on further into our details of like what types of data set does iGuide at this time support. So there are so when you go and try to register register a data set on the iGuide platform, in addition to externally hosted data set, this is more focused on the iGuide hosted data set. So we at this time support formats like shapefile, GeoJSON, GeoPackage, KML, which are specific to Google Earth, and etc. So these are specific formats that we do allow, that we do filter on, that you can upload to the iGuide platform. In addition to that, there are a few non-geospatial as well, so as for example CSV, JSON, and zip, etc. But if you have a particular data set and that does not fit into this category, please do reach out to us, and we should be able to work with you to make that available on the iGuide platform. In addition to these supported formats, at this time we do have a 2 gigabyte per dataset limit when a user is uploading that, which at till now has been working fine. However, there is no limit on the number of data sets that you can actually contribute, so per user. So and we do realize that many of like this, although this limit, it may not serve everyone, because there can be a long tail of people, users out there who need more data sets, more storage. So if, yeah, you are you are such a user who require more storage, to reach out to us again, and we should be able to work with you to come up with a solution where we can provide you with the storage for which the iGuide support, iGuide host. Moving on, one of the major when you're registering, oh, so this, okay, sorry about the misalignment of the circle. When registering a particular data set on iGuide, regardless of whether that's external or internal, iGuide hosted, we do have these special metadata fields. And although these special metadata fields, that they are all useful, but at the same time we do want this we do want this feature uh, to be as easily available to the user, as usable to the user as possible, because we do realize that adding this information can easily become a nuance for any user. Like, imagine yourself, if you are working, if you just want to register a particular data set, but there are, like you see, one, two, three, four particular multiple things that are required by the user, which obviously help the quality of the data set, which is the major aspect. The major need for this metadata is to ensure that the data set that you have comes to is of a particular quality. But it can very easily become a nuance to a user. So we do support this autofill metadata. For instance, like you just put a few keywords, like what this data set is about, where for the spatial aspect of this data set, and then we can provide you with all of autofill information, metadata information that you can actually use to make this as easy as possible while still not compromising the quality of data. Similarly, for spatial metadata, we do have temporal aspect of these data sets as well. And this is not like, although this metadata part, this ensures quality of the data set, which benefits everyone, not just you. It does require some aspect from your some new some more work from your side, from the user's core or the contributor side. But like I said, this makes data sets more findable, usable, useful, and relevant. And if you go to the iGuide platform, we actually use this exact metadata to map these knowledge elements available on the map interface that we have. So this is one of another way on the iGuide platform, where you can just go to the map and you can see, if you are interested in to get data set or publication which are referring to a particular area, you can actually go to our maps section of the iGuide platform, and you should be able to access all of the data sets, publications, and knowledge elements registered for a particular area. So this makes your data sets, not just your data set, but this makes your every knowledge elements find more useful, findable, and relevant, which is obviously one of the goal of open science as well. I would like Eric to take over from now.
Yes, thank you, Furqan. So as everybody knows, that DOI, which stands for Digital Object Identifier, is a persistent and unique identifier for each either paper or dataset or even Jupyter Notebook. So the benefits of getting a DOI of your dataset from us, number one, so it will be a permanent link to your dataset, which is easier to share, and you feel more confident of putting that somewhere, more permanent, because the link will always be linked to your dataset. And also it provides the authenticity, because IGA platform will have a team to review your dataset and make sure the dataset is high quality and also not in the draft state. So it also provides more authenticity of your dataset to your audience. However, we do require that you have the ownership, or at least the permission, to request DOI from us. And also we require you to walk through the data ethic compliance, making sure that your data set meets our standard regarding data ethic. And also our team will also review your data set and make sure everything else also meets our standard. So after you finish a dataset contribution, so if you go to your user drop-down menu, or even just your user profile page, then you will be able to see a button either request DOI or eligible for DOI. Then you will be redirected to a page where you can see all of your elements that are eligible to request the DOI from us. So currently, we only issue DOI to dataset elements, but in the future, we are planning to expand it to Jupyter Notebook as well. So regarding the data ethics compliance, we do require you to indicate the license of your dataset as well as the funding source. Afterwards, you will see a compliance questionnaire, which I will cover later in the demo. And this data ethics compliance form was originally created by Professor Peter Darsh, who is an expert in the field of data ethics. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick demo of our dataset upload and DOI request feature. So as you can see, this is our IGAP platform, and we are improving our IGAP platform every day, every week. So you will see more improvements and even more features, more new features on our IGAP platform. But for today's demo, so if you are logged in, then you should be able to see your profile picture here. But if you're not, you should see a sign in button that's in blue, and you can sign in using our CI logon. So once you signed in, and if you hover over your user profile picture, then you should be able to see this new dataset button if you use your university email to sign in. And once we are here, so we will submit a new data set here. As you can see, we set this as public. And the data set that we'll be using is from the US Census Bureau. And that is a 2020 US Census data with geometry information. So here we're just gonna put the title as US Census Geometry Data 2020. And the authors will be US Census Bureau. And for the keywords, I will just put census and census tract. So we have a pre-written content here. So we do want our contributors to include a basic statement of what this data set has, including the column names, as well as a very short description of what a table has. Okay, so and for thumbnail image, we recommend you to pick an image that can represent the data set the best. So in this case, we're gonna include an image that shows the US on a map. And since we use the image from this website, so we're just gonna copy, So we're just gonna copy the image credit here. And then you are able to upload your own data set. Currently, we limit the size under 2 gigabytes, but if you are interested in submitting something bigger, then do let us know and we can work with you individually. So here, click the select your dataset button. Then you are able to select your dataset. And once you open your dataset, you should be able to see the file name, size, as well as the type of the file. So just to confirm that you are about to upload the right file. So after we finish it, we also give you an option to delete this dataset if that's not what you want to upload. and we autofill the direct download link of your data set. So this is the link to the Minao storage, and users or your audience will be able to download the dataset directly using this link, as well as dataset size. And for related elements, then you're able to link this element that you're about to submit with one of the elements from, or one or more elements on our platform currently. So we select dataset and then we search census. Then you're able to see this. So we're going to link this one. Historic redlining scores for 2010 and 2020 US Census tract, so it seems related. So that's for the related elements. And for spatial metadata, since this data set is for the whole United States, so it is quite big, so it doesn't really make sense to include that here. But if your data set represents a smaller area, for example, for example, since I'm located in Urbana, Illinois, so I can, for example, search Urbana, and if you click autofill metadata, then you see there are lots of options here. So if you just, click one of the options, then it will be automatically filled using the API. So now I'm just going to uncheck this since this data is about the whole United States. And then for temporal coverage, I'll just put 2020. Okay, 2020. And then submit. So once you submit it, if your element might be eligible for DOI, you'll see a prompt here. So I'm just going to click View Element. And then you'll see this button here. It says Start DOI Request. Then I'll just click this. So as you can see, so this is just a review of your data, of your element, and just make sure that everything is correct. But we're missing license and funding agencies. We do request our contributor to include these two fields before requesting a DOI. So I'm just going to click Add an element. I'm sorry, Add a license. So here, select the license. Because this data set does contain a government license, so I'm just gonna select other and put this data set is subject to the license set by the U.S. Census Bureau, and then this is their license page. I'm just gonna copy and paste it here. Okay. And for the funding agency, it's from U.S. Census Bureau. Okay. And now I'm just going to click Update. We click the Start DOI Request. Then you will see this DOI request form. And you're able to review this again. And now we have the license and funding agency fixed. So now we have to go through this compliance questionnaire, which we ensure that your data set complies with our data ethics requirement. And this is developed by Professor Peter Darch, like I mentioned before. The first question, we want to make sure that you are either the creator or the owner, or you have permission to request this DOI with us. As well as we want to make sure that this data set doesn't contain identifiable human subject data, or we will ask you to provide like an explanation for that. We'll also ask the information about sensitive data from your data set, as well as demographic information, whether your data set contains any legally protected information as well. So nowadays, AI is very popular. So we do want to know if your data set contains AI generated content, or if the data set itself is the result of a AI model. So after you finish every questions, then you can click request, and then we'll get a notification and reach out and follow up with you using the email that you that's on your account. So this is the whole process. Hopefully this is streamlined enough, but if you do have any questions, you can always go to support and click contact us, and you'll be able to reach out to us if you do have any questions or recommendations for us. And now I'm gonna hand this back to Furqan to continue this presentation.
Okay, so thank you, Eric. All of you can see my screen, yes? Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So just to wrap all of this up, how can you contribute or help in the iGuide platform in addition to just registering new elements? So go onto the platform, register using your educational or institute email ID, contribute knowledge elements, make connections for these knowledge elements, because the one of the major aspect of the iGuide is a community driven open science as well. So we want to so specifically for data set element types, you can, like, for externally hosted data set, and these are you can go on to these you can, while exploring these data sets, you can see whether you can directly see whether these data sets are iGuide dataset or externally hosted dataset by using the particular link that is provided for these dataset. So try to reproduce the workflows using these different datasets which these are connected to, and see whether these datasets are actually accessible and usable. Because like, although we do have some we do try to make that ensure quality of these data sets, but that is also dependent on the actual users. Like, to if you find some data sets which the links are not valid anymore, or which are not directly downloadable, or there is some other issue with these with the particular data set, report these data sets to us, similar to from using the contact us page, or the ways that Eric showed at the last of the demo. Also, you can also, while registering these resources, you can propose new connections to these data sets. So these data sets or other knowledge elements, when they were contributed, the author came up with a few of the connections that they thought were relevant to their own contribution. However, as new contributions are coming into the iGuide platform, you as a user, you as a contributor, should come up with, based on your exploration, if you think that this data set or this knowledge element is more is relevant to this, make a connection to that and make them available or propose new connections for this. For specifically for iGuide hosted datasets rates, again, we, like I said, that we can confirm that these datasets, there are some guarantees that we can provide for iGuide hosted datasets. So we can at least make sure that these datasets are downloadable anywhere, at least in the and downloadable and actionable in the iGuide Jupyter Hub. So that's guaranteed. But you as a user can read these data sets. You can again create those connections for these data sets to make the whole iGuide platform more useful and more beneficial for the general scientific community. And with that, thank you. And you can scan the QR code. This is the link that you can go to play with what iGet platform is, specifically for data sets or anything. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to connect and work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Furqan. Any questions from anyone on the call on this presentation, or anything you want to learn about the platform?
Looks like I have came to this talk a bit late. Maybe you have already answered that question. And I just wonder for the datasets hosted on the iGuide platform, I'm not very familiar with this platform, but I just wonder in terms of the dataset type, are there many public available data sets, or majority of the data sets are actually come from the individual contributors? So when I look for data sets, if I want to look for specific, like federal agencies collect data sets, should this a good repository for me to look into, or it is not?
Well, that depends on whether you or some of the contributor actually register that data set with the iGuide platform, because we do not automatically go to these repositories and pull everything from existing repositories. So we want at least for some user to register these also for these external resources. If they have registered these data set, they will show up in the iGuide platform.
Oh, okay. So I have not used that platform. So if, for example, if I want to search for some data sets, is there any easy way to search through the database or available data sets by keywords, by year of the data and the type of data, for example, social demographic information, or like hydrology, soil, whether this type of keyword available for search?
Yes, all of these are available on the iGuide platform. If you go, we have keyword search as well as intelligent search, where LLM based search, where you can specify these particular questions, and you can filter out these data sets based on your own criteria.
Okay, and also all of these data sets are actually are able to download to our personal hard drive to integrate our personal workflow, for example, in RGS Pro or RGS Online platform, or those are only can be mapped or used on the iGuide mapping platform.
Well, you can download them on your personal local storage as well.
Okay.
And yes, they should be downloadable on your local storage for your own use as well.
Okay, so those are not, like, I know some of the Esri data set, for example, they can only be viewed, not really edited or, downloadable, convert to other format, for example, to integrate with other workflow. So yours data are allowed to be, for example, edited.
Yes, so these all of the data set, like most of the data sets are which are on the iGet platform with given license. They should be open.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Very helpful.
Thank you. And additionally, I would like to add that in addition to downloading these data sets, we also have a Jupyter environment. We did not talk about that in this demo much, but we do have a Jupyter environment where you could process these data sets, and we provide the computation to go with the data as well.
All right, thanks.
Any further questions?
Well, thank you very much, Erick and Furqan, for the very informative sharing. To follow up with the question posed by Fong, the search part is actively evolving for getting datasets discovered. This might be very useful feedback, especially for the development of our smart search capabilities. Right now, the smart search based on large language models, largely getting the search results associated with the knowledge elements on the platform validated. But I think there's definitely a requirement associated with, for your question, regarding getting broad geospatial datasets discovered, not necessarily currently hosted on the platform, but getting related datasets discovered that would provide new linkages to datasets not yet on the platform, but could support users to retrieve those datasets, either to the platform or for just the users to access data that is not hosted on the platform, but potentially in the future could be linked to the platform.
Yeah, Shawan, that's a really great vision for search. The reason I asked this question because I personally had some experience when I search on Google, for example, for certain data sets for some project. And I find it's pretty difficult to navigate through different links sometimes. So I think for a general user, it would be nice to have a smart search capability to narrow down to most relevant data sets. And if you have like a link to external data sets not actually hosted on iGuide platform, that would be even better, and that will really very helpful for both researchers and also the graduate students, because very often when I supervise my students on certain project, we need to search for external data sets, and lots of time students run into all kinds of difficulties. So with that, the platform, I definitely can introduce them to this platform for their projects.
Right. Yeah. This is a topic we're actively thinking and researching. We have some preliminary development work in this space. As Erick and Furqan mentioned, the platform is evolving very rapidly.
Mhm.
So very interesting to hear about your experience. And yeah, we might reach out to you to gain your insights in this regard. As we roll out new capabilities, we would certainly value your feedback.
Sure. Thank you, Shawan.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess thank you everyone here. We are about the end of our time. So again, thank you to Erick and Furqan for this nice presentation, and we'll wrap this up and we'll meet again next week on another VCO, which is on one of the spatial AI challenges which iGuide conducted last year. So see many of you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.